Good morning, galactic wanderers, lovers of spirit. I should be reading something beautiful from Khalil Gibran, but I do not know where I put the book. I think it's in another room and I can't enter that room right now. How are you doing? How is your earth doing? How is your truth doing? How is your truth being? How's your being true? How is your joy factor? My cork is gradually floating up to the top, releasing my own pressure gradually. It's not a movement of abandon. It is a slow and measured force. Where are we today? White mirror on tone 13. Endure, transcend presence. What endures and transcends the present? What remains? And are we able to see anything new? Or is that which we see remaining today the same as yesterday? I'm looking out at the trees and I'm thinking, yep, same as yesterday, same as the day before. And yet not. They're growing, they're preparing for their next explosion of green. So whether I can see it or not, they are not the same tree that they were yesterday. And that is natural and obvious. So neither am I the same as I was yesterday. My system, my life force, our life force is preparing for our next explosion of green. Foliage. Maybe you're somewhere in full bloom. Whatever, maybe your system is preparing to lose its foliage. If you're on the opposite side of the earth, why is the earth round? Why are so many planets round? I hear a flat earther piping up, you are wrong there. Maybe we're all right. Maybe our expectation structures reality, the observer effect. can't quite avoid the science. There's something absolutely fascinating that nobody can explain. And I thought about it early, and I thought, are we ever seeing just what we expect, even when we measure or make science experiments? But this thing I'm going to speak about, I'm pretty sure there was no way on earth when they discovered this, any of us, anybody could have anticipated this. I don't believe it. So it gives me hope. I don't know, either there's something wrong with the measurement or not wrong, but I mean, we can always assume to discover a truth until we realize, ooh, we had this thing upside down all along, so that changes the whole truth altogether. So I will just give what this thing is, and if there are whatever unknown factors here that make it so or appear so, I can't account for those. But here's the thing. And if it were just a thought experiment, even I, who love every kind of, not every kind, but lots of theoretical thought experiment, because it takes my mind down alleys that it isn't used to going down, and I like that. It's like, yeah. But if this is real, and at the moment it appears to be so, evidence suggests it is a very, very interesting and very, very strange thing. So here it comes. They discovered, you probably know this, but anyway, they discovered that that reality, or a lot of it, and I mean by reality now, what we experience, and including decisions we make, things we do, they happen, or the decision to do it is or the brain fires signals. So it's not maybe the whole reality, but like when it comes to us in our brain, several seconds, not milliseconds, seconds. And sometimes they say a number like 8 or something, but I don't want to misquote anyone or anything. Several seconds before we realize ourselves that this is what we're going to do. Like if I lift my hand, in my brain, that's already happened seconds before I do it, seconds before I even think that I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? It's like it is passing strange. So, what does that mean? If you indulge me and we just wander down theory lane for a bit, why? Why would we do that? Why would I do that? I don't know, just for fun. If my consciousness or our consciousness, whatever that is, that conscious part, what is exactly that? Something in me says, that's me. You're talking about me. I am that conscious. I am the consciousness. I am the observer. Here we are. It makes decisions, or seems to make decisions after the decision is made. Does it just observe the made decision in that case? Is that the observer, quote unquote, that believes it's made the decision? And has it maybe made the decision, but made it like 8 seconds earlier? But then awareness or consciousness or the decision itself, as we experience the decision, gets made later. It's so strange. What if it just means time is backwards? What we think of earlier is actually later. That's a rabbit hole I can't follow. But that is a real that seems to be a real effect. And when they measured it, that's the kind of thing where I think nobody could have anticipated that, because nobody would be able to think, I would think, that we do this, that we have, that the brain sends a signal for me to lift my hand seconds before I decide to do so. Like, what the fuck? What does that mean? If, okay, I can think of this, but I'm not going to do this now. It's just it's just an amazing little observation. Truth reflects order, white mirror, the last tone of the world bridger. Equalize opportunity, death. Death equalizes our opportunities. Letting go brings in new opportunities, allows new opportunities to be realized. Pulse, intend, realize. Tone 9, solar, part of this pulsar, part of the time pulsar of this wave spell. As always, that tone 9 is part of the pulsar, the time program. This is what we're doing. This is what we're synchronizing with, focusing on. And love, heart, loyalty. It's the center of it. To live in service of love. And sometimes we have to let go what we love or who we love so that they can take flight away from us. But life always brings new opportunity to love. When one love leaves our life or goes, yes, it will hurt for a time, but there's always an opportunity to love again. Or to love, to continue the love within ourselves, even if it no longer expresses out there. I mean, like physically. Love is eternal. And love is always looking for a vessel to pour itself into and to express into life. When we open ourselves to that frequency, it pours through as naturally as breathing. It opens our heart, it strengthens our vessels, it clears our mind. And I'm not talking about the intoxication of in-loveness. Yeah, that's a slightly different story, but that is also cool, very cool. But that is not sustainable. If we're chasing that, well, no, if we're chasing that, and we are free to choose. We can chase whatever we want and add life experience to life along any trajectory. Today we're transcending death. Orderly, because we are eternal. Life is eternal, endless, as endless, the same as eternal. Endlessness reflects order. So if we're seeing a chaos, maybe we just haven't zoomed out far enough to see the order. So while I'm still in my journey through Hades process, I may not see the value in it. But today, I can synchronize with what remains. What have I accomplished? And yes, I can take some time and think about that, but I don't even need to unless I want to speak about it. Because what is true is here. It works. It exists. I don't need to use any of my mind to think about it. It's apparent. And in the reality of my life, I will see my truth reflected. I will see my transformation reflected. I will see my... I don't need to... words. Presence. The present moment, where does it begin? I am watching a squirrel jump up a tree higher and higher. It's investigating the branches and it's going back to the trunk, going a little higher, next branch, back to the trunk. So cute. It is February, it's end of February in the northern hemisphere. We can feel this energy of spring, like the energy before the rumble starts, that it becomes an earthquake. It's not rumbling yet, but there's something gearing up to rumble. The light quality changes. The sun returns. These cycles, day and night, short cycle, spring, seasons. Oh, excuse me. Seasons, longer cycles. All happening, small wheel spins inside big wheels. Rolling, 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 na 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 na. Life in the city, walking down the night and day. Oh, I love that song. Oh, I love that song. We are rolling a long time in time timelessness. Okay, that is absolutely irrelevant. What am I saying? Focus. I am today almost purposefully very differently focused. And something makes me feel as though that isn't working in the context of a monocast. I have observed myself sometimes just talking so much and so fast. Now I'm so soft. I don't know if you can hear me. Oh my goodness. I couldn't talk any softer and still produce sound. But I am aiming for that frequency that isn't filled with information in terms of words. But I'm aiming to transmit something through the silence. I don't know what that is, but I am being present with it. And I'm transmitting, and I'm receiving. And my little mind says, where's that valuable? Where's that valuable? You didn't get a grade for this in school. It's not valuable. It's not logical. It does not make sense. It cannot be measured. No, it can't. And you know what? This is my space. I can sit here and be quiet for half an hour. It's fine. It's not, I'm not here because of someone else listening, right? Well, not entirely true. I see two birds in a tree. One is small, like a sparrow, fluttering about. It's not flying, but it's just not sitting still. It's doing its little twitchy movements. Tick, tick, tum, 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 tum. And then there's another one, a little bit higher up, bigger. It just sits there. Calmly observing the environment. Maybe it's feeling its own inner environment until an impulse comes and it flies away. This is the calm before the storm. Preparation to be the eye of the storm. Tomorrow, blue storm wave spell starts. Catalyze is one of its attributes. A catalyst is a thing that transforms something else but does itself not change. It's not affected, it's not changed. We shall be changed. Something about us will be changed, is always changed, is always changing. I spoke a lot about change yesterday. Synchronize, evolve, resonances, frequencies, change, 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 change. The only constant in life is change. And yet, it It's not that the I does not necessarily change, but it may just change in a very different rhythm. And a different frequency, and therein it can stay still, centered, seemingly unchanged and observant, not reactive. So I went through this very interesting process, and I shall go through this again. This process that I explained yesterday about sort of, I want to call it quantum hawking. But the hawking coming from the word hawk, to like really watch something like a hawk, like, and then, this reminds me, there's a quantum Zeno effect. I should talk about it some other day. Where, yeah, we should not, but I should just like quantum Zeno effect is when you watch a particle in maybe superposition or in itself, wherever it's spinning, whatever it's doing, and if you don't stop watching it, if you watch it continuously, it can't change. It remains unchanged. We have to let go. The storm cannot activate and work properly if we haven't done the letting go. Now the storm comes, strictly speaking, in the cycle of 20. I mean, every before is an after, so it's an eternal circling. So who comes first? Seal 19 or Seal 7 or 6, whatever the storm is. The World Bridger is 6, I think. But since we're cycling, they are all, but if we say we're sequencing and starting at 1, we're starting at the dragon. The death comes before storm. But in this sequence of seals, if we're saying sequence of wave spells, the wave spell of World Bridger precedes the storm, and I haven't quite got it worked out to the degree that I can. I have to admit, I haven't worked out what is the difference in these two sequences. I mean, it's significant. What does that mean? Why this difference? And the frequency of difference, the difference is that the frequency, there's a 13, since it's somehow there's a difference of 13. Whew, I wish I were a mathematician. Anyway, the storm. Anyway, the quantum xenovic, been there. This analyzing, this hawking, myself, my own mental and emotional and whatever developmental programming processes, hawking them. God, I love that word. I've been practicing that for a very long time, getting so present. Okay, not going back there. What am I saying? So I can be the day before. Yesterday I spoke about this conversation I had 2 days ago and this process, and I can see how I was being my I in my storm, and how that allowed, on that level, how that allows the transformation to happen. Because as I am centered, I'm stable. Being the eye of the storm means being very, very stable while things are moving. Oh, this is so cute. Oh my goodness. I'm looking at it and I wonder if it's the same squirrel, it's another squirrel. It's in a different tree, and it's jumping down branches. Looks as if it's falling. It's really high up and then jumps down. Looks as if it's like tumbling down the tree. Looks like it's having a lot of fun. Okay, today is nonetheless not the storm yet. Transcending presence, our guide is the white wind today. And in that, I love this little aspect of a wave spell, which is always, it starts on obviously a color, so the time, a white world bridger is so white, the time pulsar is white, the four seals that make up the time pulsar, white world bridger, white dog, white wizard, and white mirror. There are 5 white seals, and the 5th one is never in the wave spell directly. It's the next white seal. It's the one between the white mirror and the white world bridger. And it's the white wind, and it guides the last seal. That seal always guides tone 13. And it establishes, in my understanding, this relationship between tone 1 and tone 5. The center radiance command center, the radiant command center of any wave is found in tone 5. So in the world bridger, it's the white dog, heart, love, loyalty. Heart, love, loyalty. Loyalty, love, heart. What is this sequence exactly? Heart, love, loyalty. Maybe we can say heart loves loyalty. The heart loves loyalty. Heart, love, loyalty. Loyalty. Such an important loyalty to truth. It just smooths the path. It just it creates order. It creates coherence. And I haven't emphasized coherence in a while. Coherence is a key to order. We can only know, I'm going to make a bold and sweeping statement. We can only know who we are when we know who we are not. So how much of who we are not do we have to experience to know who we are? I mean, how does existence know itself? Does it have to experience non-existence? It couldn't. So on that level, that statement doesn't make any sense. But it can break itself down into fractals of itself, holographic smaller parts, and then experience this thing of a thing, knowing what it is by definition of what it is not. And then it can pattern recognize itself. But then again, existence, I cannot even, what am I doing? Whatever. But is it relevant for me to know who I am by what I am not? The yellow humans linked to spirit, the eternal being that we are, knows itself through experiencing a non-eternal state of being. Eternity knows itself. If we're talking consciousness, self-awareness, how would an eternal being be self-aware of its eternal nature if there wasn't a reference to to the opposite? And how would it know the opposite if it didn't get to experience the opposite? It wouldn't. Yin and yang, that's fundamental. The polarity, it's fundamental. It stabilizes life. It's stability. Yesterday I totally grasped the lunar sun. We'll get there. Maybe I've lost the grasp by the time we get there, but yesterday I got it in a way I never have before. And I've often wondered about the lunar sun. Like, what? Had to let go of some biases yesterday. Release them to have new opportunities merge out of the quantum field, out of the field of endless possibility. Blue night. This mirror, blue night and red dragon on one seal. I mean, oh my gosh. Ayo, wow. And the star harmony in antipode position, the polarity to the stars, the polarity, and it comes with the Skywalker and the monkey. Oh, how are Skywalker and monkey polar opposites to dragon and knight? Dragon and monkey are antipodes. Skywalker and knight are antipode in the occult position. So these opposites create that stability. So elegant. So while I'm polarizing and dropping into the dark night of the soul, I do, and I don't. And there's another polarity. I can break that down ad infinitum. My left hand is not my right hand. That's a fact. And I'm not about to switch that around and confuse my brain. But they are part of one body. They stabilize all my actions. Lunar, blue hand. There's two hands. There's opposing hands. They are opposing truths. I don't understand why are we allowing ourselves to be drawn into conflict over opposing truths instead of just letting them be. Is that some kind of learned self-righteousness? Is that what the school system does, that it's bad to be wrong? I mean, sometimes you argue with people about something or have a discussion. I mean, it turns into an argument because it doesn't have to be an argument. Okay, wait, arguments. We argue because we so want to be right. Sometimes it's like really practical applications, like this matters right now, here, this or that, it makes a difference. But let's say shit like, but stuff like, which direction should you face to worship the divine, or is the earth flat or round, or is it better to be pro this or anti that? I mean, okay, we assume real life implications, but like flat earth, round earth. So for example, there's no point to argue about that. Or like really, it doesn't matter. Believe what you want to. At the end of the day, you're going to take a step and walk forward. I'm going to take a step and walk forward. I'm going to get into an airplane and fly over to China. You're going to get into an airplane and fly over to China. Whether you're flying across a flat earth and I'm flying around a round earth, who cares? It doesn't matter. Because it's like, what does it matter? But play out the reality until we get there. Who knows? I mean, but your view of it does not conflict with my view of it, even though it's completely opposite. different whether we believe what some politicians are doing because they have real life consequences. But I'm sitting at the table, you're sitting at the table. You believe what this guy's doing is a good thing. I believe it's a bad thing. Now, why do we fight about that? What is that about? And why do I ask that? Because that happens inside me and I need to understand that. Because if I'm having that kind of fight and that kind of war happening inside me, and if we're having it happen on the planet, I personally think, like, who benefits? Why are we fighting these wars? Why are we... I mean, when I listen to it on the news, or when I listen to arguments about it, or whatever, when I look at the story, it's like back again to the surface. It's a surface level problem. Whether or not I put my missile heads over there and you think it's too close for comfort, I will not allow you to put them over there, because that means you can attack me over here, leaves me vulnerable, and I'm going to fight you tooth and nail that you cannot do that. You're saying that's not my intention. I'm saying you've been lying as long as you've existed, so don't tell me about your intentions, because I just going to assume everything you're saying is a lie, because that's proved to be true as far as I'm concerned. So, I mean, where are we going? Where do we get to from there? We're just not getting anywhere. So what's underneath it? Why do we even need to resort to that kind of thing? Why do we even need to have missiles on the planet? What the fuck for? How are we structuring our earthly global society? Why are we are so fragmented? Why are we having borders and countries and cultural groups and languages? By all means, fun, it's nice, it's interesting. Do we want to be a homogeneous? We will be someday probably a homogeneous culture on this planet. At the moment we're not, and that's really nice. There's a lot of benefits to going places and seeing different cultures and how they speak and how they think and how they cook and how they eat and how they do things, how they build their houses, how they worship their divine, what kind of songs they sing, how they heal, what. Very fascinating. I don't know that it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be a different world if once everything is one culture, but then we will be in a place where we meet other cultures on other planets. It will never be entirely homogeneous. But to be in this exploiting, to have no empathy, to deliberately cause hurt, to kill or not even kill a rhinoceros for its horn and then cut off that horn and leave it to bleed out. I mean, I'm sorry, whoever does that in my books does not qualify as human. And I am radical. To me, they don't qualify as being alive. If I had to say, this is a radical statement. It's like, you do that shit, I'm sorry. It's like, you have no right to be here. Go the fuck away. What the fuck? Like, and I mean, we do it on all kinds of levels, and we do it within ourselves. And why do we do that? And can we, instead of having my attitude that I just display and say, off with their heads, we have to administer healing and not punishment. Like, when people do that, oh man. But what is wrong with our humanity that we do that? And why am I looking at it as wrong? It it's just so wrong. And the way we treat our domestic animals, the ones we eat. Cattle herding and chicken farms and this just absolutely horrific. And then we eat that stuff. And we are surprised why we are like close to utterly dysfunctional. I mean, hello. How could we not be? I mean, if you eat that kind of meat on a daily, like seriously, but how do we even allow for that? How do we collectively allow for that? Why are we so lost to our conveniences? Like, yeah, I want to have my hamburger 20 times a day. I want to have my meat cost only €2. I want all this convenience. I just like, I don't care for the cost to the animal. I'm so far removed from that it doesn't affect me. And you know what? It affects you and you don't realize it. Because of course you're not being told about it, because the very same industry that benefits from that, they benefit from your sickness. Like, they get to sell you their medicine. I mean, it's a win-win for them no matter what. It's like, and we are over here thinking like, and Dave Chappelle put it very right. He said, don't, like, he tells a story of whatever, and whoever he quotes, like, don't ever get between a man and his meal. It's a dangerous place. So if we stand over here and we say we want to change that kind of farming and that kind of farming, we're coming between some men and their meals. And they don't like that very much. So time and again, people come up with very simple cures for very drastic health conditions, and they don't live very long. Because there's a very vested interest in that information not spreading out there. And I suppose each one of us have to simply realize we have to become that change. We have to make that change in ourselves, not go out there and get between these people and their meals or their billions and billions of dollars, their cash cows herded into horrific cattle farms. It's a dangerous place. That's eventually that will change, but we change it by simply not buying their stuff. What are they gonna do? They gotta realize we're buying something else, and then they themselves are gonna say, that's where the profit is. So that's how we change the world, through our buying power, through our attention. Who are we watching? What are we giving our attention to? And what are we not giving our attention to? That is changing the world. That is superpower. And we can just change our own world, our own health, our own well-being by what we pay attention to, the thoughts we think, the energies we ingest, the food we ingest, the systems we support by what we buy, and what is going to atrophy because we don't buy it. And yeah, peace of mind. Self-empowerment, resonant yellow human, fearlessness, the yellow pulsar in this wave spell is, in this case, the white pulsar is the time pulsar. It's the fourth dimensional time pulsar. It's the White World Bridger fourth dimensional time pulsar. Then there's this first dimensional life pulsar, which is blue, blue hand, blue monkey, blue eagle. And then you can check out the tones. Then the second dimensional sense pulsar is yellow. And then the third dimensional mind form pulsar is red. So I wanted to talk about this yellow pulsar. Life pulsar. No. Sense pulsar. The sense pulsar. Yellow. Yellow star. Yellow electric star. Yellow resonant human. And yellow spectral warrior. The sense pulsar always is these three tones: electric, resonant, spectral. Electric, resonant, spectral make up the sense pulsar of every wave spell. And that is extremely significant, but I am not yet that evolved to really even hold that frequency, but my system is probably already holding it. I just haven't realized it yet. I am a bit behind in my awareness. I like that thought. So I will affect myself backwards in time. Incidentally, hold that thought. Let's see if you get back there, if you can hold that thought and talk about it in a minute. If I don't, at least you'll never know what I'm not talking about, and it's fine. It's not as embarrassing as saying I'm going to talk about this and then I forget. Anyways, I wanted to talk about this yellow sense pulsar. And to understand that the yellow seals are the matrix formers, right? The harvest. So the sense is the sense pulsar. I'm going to just explore this. I don't know if this makes any sense. I'm just going to ramble. If the sense pulsar in the wave spell of death equalize opportunity, that's the time frequency we're in. The sense pulsar, sense, what we can sense. We have 5 senses, but we have more than 5 senses. So talking about senses and not understanding how many senses we can talk about because we don't know them or I don't know them, frustrating. Spirit, tell me what it is I need to know. As long as I'm limited to my 5 or 6 or 7 senses, let me keep with them. But then the World Bridger says, let go of limitation and allow the possibility of something new. So I'm letting go of my limitations, not knowing what else there is, but I'm allowing for what else there is to make itself known to me and make myself able to know it. Okay. Resonant human, sense pulsar, electric star, and then this spectral tone, which opens up the spectrum, but it also releases us, the sense pulsar. I am using a part of my mind that cannot get there. But what can I do? Is I can just get really still and allow for that information that is in there to go resonant with it. It will not immediately filter up. It may not immediately. It will. It could. It doesn't have to. It may not. Whatever, filter up or show up as words. And some part of me is like, don't do this here. You're wasting people's time. Okay, I'm not wasting my time. But if I don't do this here, I don't sit down quite as focused. This is really helping me focus. So I'm going to sit here a minute longer. Just bear with me or fast forward. Can I focus in on one pulsar and not at the exclusion of the others, or are they essentially necessary to be held as well? so that the one can form. Like, water needs a container. I can't, if I focus on water and I have no container, the water just goes, it's not, I need something. If I want to look at water or like have water here, it cannot be done without something holding that water, even if it is a floor. So the time pulsar at least has probably got to be the container for the sense pulsar. Oh, there's so many ways to go with this. I'm observing inside myself how incredibly conditioned I am to. Here's the yellow star in this pulsar, and the human, and the warrior. So what's showing up is my inner critic again. These voices that are not, I don't know what, they're not part of my core frequency, but they're coming in, saying all kinds of things. Like, I should be worried about something more practical. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Is this, that? And then another voice says, yeah, but this is what you get when you're not in survival mode. You get to explore things. And then there's another voice that often criticizes, we spend so much money on wanting to fly to Mars or doing quantum physics or getting some rich people to just spend half an hour in orbit, beyond orbit, and blah and blah and blah, and while people are starving on this planet. Why aren't we using our resources to fix the planet first? Valid question. And different modes in me have absolutely different answers to this question. Anyway, that's part of the frequencies that's resonating in my system right now, and it's kind of disturbing. Should I let it disturb every field in this universe, like every human, every experience? There's a reason we're not just 3 people on the planet. There's a reason for it all, and it's a good reason. And each one of us has got to find their peace with the way the present moment in our own lives, in our own heads, in our own hearts, in our own frequency resonance chambers, and in our city, in our country, on our planet, how things are. Humanity, as we know ourselves, I am convinced, does not only live on planet Earth. There are many humans on other planets, and when we are ready, we will meet them. And that's absolutely pointless. What is really important is I am living inside a body, and the health of this body, the health of this mind, that's the bottom line. If I'm not healthy, if I'm struggling, if I'm in survival mode, there's no much capacity for expansion, contemplating human evolution while you're just trying to make ends meet. Not happening. Yeah, my stomach. Oh, come on. Shut the fuck up. That's not necessary. A chorus of bodily liquids saying, fluids in there, like, I'm ready to digest something. crafting a light body. Can I ingest light, live on light? Here you go. Get a dosage of light. There you go. Feeding you. Plucking a ray of sunlight like a sunflower from a field. Here you go. Take it. Let's see if that quiets you for a while. Not happening. Okay, maybe it's time to stop. This is very theoretical, but why is this practical? Why is this my space? What am I doing? Okay, wait a minute. Bring it on, baby. To me, this is very difficult because I'm running up against judgment, and my own judgment, my inner judges have been conditioned by the environments I grew up in. And to free myself from those is, going back to, do we want to just be an echo chamber? There are people who are absolutely immune to what other people think. And there's such strength in that. And the ones I know, and I can think of two people right now. And one is completely stable in life as far as we think being a stable human working in society, what that means. The other one the other one is not. And flirting with insanity, flirting with social divergence, being socio-divergent. I don't think that's a term out there, but it should be, because when we're socio-divergent, we are often the very ones who land up like in the street. We're not coping with socio-normativeness. We can't quite, we for some reason can't adjust, we can't do it. Every time I look at every time I meet a foul, like yesterday there was a young man coming to beg on the train, and he stood a couple of meters away from me on the station platform for a while before the train arrived. And what arrived before the train arrived was his stench. Oh, goodness me. Whew! Like, my mind is just like, how do we get there? How does this happen? This is a human being. What does it look like inside of this person? And was it always like that? Was he born like that? Socio-divergent? How do we get there? And how we I can see. Oh man. And I mean, that there is a slippery slope somewhere out there. And for many of us, like, I don't need to think about that. I'm totally stable in myself. I will never be that. No matter what happens, I will not lose my coherence. Now, my empathy, I can put myself into that state, and I can sort of experience that. I can go there, and it's very scary, because it's very incoherent. And I need to not go into this too deeply now. Why am I going into this deeply now? Something I'm trying to avoid, or something I'm afraid of, or something I'm trying to understand. Frequencies. And the ability to be stable but not rigid. Water is the strongest substance, but it's very, very stable. H2O is a very, 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 very stable molecular compound. Extremely stable and extremely fascinating. The anomaly of water. Oh my goodness, like what do we, to break out of rigid paradigms. Yesterday I spoke about it, but we can be imprisoned in our paradigms, and when we break through a paradigm wall, it can cause such instability that can feel like insanity, and we need an environment that catches us. A social environment. We need to feel socio-normative. We need to feel sane. We need to feel normal. And whereas we need to resonate with ourselves and our environment and feel normal. And I have experienced being called or considered very not normal by people who are very important in my life. And what does that do to me as a very sensitive being? Where do I run to from there to stabilize myself when I was born into a world where I was so not normal in my inner attitudes? Nothing around me reflected that back to me. I can say to myself, either that's already my insanity or that is my strength. And to live, to be deployed, and yeah, that is in certain fields, if I was to, in certain social circles, if I was to say what I was about to say, I would be considered insane. But I am not insane. But yeah, that's the light worker's plight. It's very, very difficult. It's easy to be that in a field where everyone is that and you're just normal. It's not easy to be that in a field where not everyone is that. Maybe no one is that. But you are that force for change. And you are the one who have to hold the light there. I have met people here in our apartment. Funnily enough, they came during that period 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago now. 5, 6 years ago now, 5 years ago. And they stayed with us and we talked. And in that time, even today, but you light workers recognize each other. It doesn't take long. It's like, yeah, there you are. And I remember at least 2 of them were completely alone. They came from the countryside in Germany somewhere, and they said, we have been alone there. There's nobody. Thankfully, we have the internet. And it was a moment of, I said, thank you for being there. Thank you for holding the light. Thank you for being strong. And they're people who are very, very adjusted to the old way of life, but they carry the seed of the new energy in them. And it's a lot of us relate to that, feeling like we're so different to our families, or we feel like odd, we feel like we don't belong. Oh yeah, we belong. And it's very good to also take note of we are starseed, everyone, whether your neighbor is awake or asleep, whether he's a stinking vagrant or a polished whoever, aware or not, we're all starseed. We're all doing the shift together, one way or the other, whether we know it or not. And it's good to center in that, but not to be strange, to be adjusted, to be socio-normative, but we'll always be a little bit socio-divergent, we'll always be a little neurodivergent, but it's nice to be not so strange that it's painful to be who we are. But as soon as we tune into our own frequency, and this is what I'm going to end with, even though I haven't spoken some about the star, there's the blue knight attached to the white mirror and the red dragon, very worth talking about. Or maybe I should for a second, but I want to leave us with this. I would like to close on this. When we resonate with our truth, our environment reflects that. And white dog stands also for companions of destiny. The wave spell, in the wave spell of the White World Bridger, it sits on position 5, center radiant command. Release yourself into your heart, release your heart into freedom. And wherever we've prepared the way, the storm will help wherever we need that help. It will transform. Love transforms. The white mirror, the wave spell is still coming. The white mirror, the time pulsar of the white mirror, white magnetic mirror, white overtone, wind. The radiant command centers the wind. Like today, the guide. Very, very significant that the 13th mirror is guided by the wind. And that the wind is the mirror's radiant command center, our truth, our order, spirit. And then I'm not going in that. Then we have tone solar 9, World Bridger, and tone 13, cosmic, white dog. So love is the love, heart, love, loyalty is the cosmic tone, is the transcendent of the mirror wave spell. The way today mirror is transcendent in the World Bridger wave spell. So to resonate in our own truth is the only way. It's the only way. It's the only truthful way to be. When we're there, we do not need to, we no longer worry about anyone else, because all we want is for everyone to be there. Everyone, believe your truth. It's beautiful. Just, it becomes the yellow star, harmony. Your truth may be so different from mine. Your frequencies may be so different from mine. If they're too different from mine, we will never meet. You will never be able to throw your bombs on me because we will never meet. You have no ability to influence my field of experience. Impossible. If you're going to throw your bombs somewhere else, well, that's that. Whoever resonates on that frequency, they are responsible. I hate to say it. Just like, we are over here. So what, I'm not done. The Maya, they say, the Maya somehow disappeared very suddenly. Who tells us that story? There may be some evidence somewhere, but the interpretations of those stories is usually done through Western historical interpretations. I'm not going to say anything here, but the Maya didn't disappear at all. Never mind. So it's just like, are we resonating on their frequency or not? I mean, the ones who came in were such a different frequency, they just found ruins. Or whatever, like, that's just like, no, man. Um, so this has got to stay practical for us to use, to live. I can't be theoretical here, even though I love my theoreticalness too. But like, our frequencies are a fact, our resonance is a fact, our resonating with our truth is like, yeah, we do it all the time. Even when we're out of alignment, there's still a truth to that out of alignment, why ever that is so. But when we really get into coherence, alignment, love, heart and head in alignment, body, love, the system, the fluids flow, the fires burn, the storms transform, the deaths may happen, the skins can shed, the system runs itself optimally and gets to transform, I'm talking about when we're there and we're built to be there. And if there was one choice that would be wise to make, is to be there, to resonate at our own free truth, then all choices make themselves logically, naturally, whatever. Then our life reflects that harmony. And then I'm going to say it, the lunar sun, which we have in 2 days, day after tomorrow. Polarity, the different truths. You may embody your own polarities, your own opposite, or you may not. I am a woman in a woman's body. I will not display a male body. Not happening. Not happening. No biological male identity here at all. But within me, absolutely. Male and female polarity, absolutely. I have both. No two ways about it. Not splitting that. But they are separate frequencies. They resonate together. And they need to. They have each the different functions. I have testosterone. I have estrogen. They all have their functions in me. The balances of it is important. They have frequencies. How much testosterone does my body produce? How much estrogen does it produce? And who decides? And what is that balance? How do I want to express? Do I get to choose? I want to express my femininity, make no two ways about it. But I want to be stable in my masculinity too. So, and that dance, that beauty, that's practical. Those are frequencies. My hormones are frequencies. They're biological, chemical expressions of radiant frequencies, of radiances. Incidentally, the moon, universal water, all kinds of liquids and fluids and flowy things, hormones are also flowy things, is the radiant command and power center of the serpent. Life force, instinct, kundalini, sexuality, sensuality, survival, body, like, isn't that beautiful? Yeah. And then the heart is the life as the command center of the world bridger. New opportunity. Always a death, always a new opportunity to reincarnate into my own body. I reincarnate into my own body every day, and every night I can ask myself, who do you want to be tomorrow? Which version of me do I reincarnate? I want to take time out of that equation. This counting of years and what that means. What is the point of counting years? I mean, what is the point of counting years? Can we be done with that? I just don't want to count years anymore. I count spins. That's all right. It's a whole different thing. This is the difference between synchronizing 1260 versus 1320. How you synchronize 1320 through the Tzolk'in or the Maya Tzolk'in, whatever this system, you leave this whole age thing. You just stay around. Watch us not age. Watch us stay like what? Watch us become what? Form a light body and travel back to the home in the stars and take our physical vessels with us. We shall explore and extrapolate the truth out of that. Even I hope that if I'm one day sitting at the age of 89, drooling in my wheelchair, in my diapers, my mind will be like, turn, world bridger, where do I let it go? Where is my move? What is my flow? Oh, here I feel my flow into my diapers. I can't control my bladder. Fuck. Sorry, this is not a laughing matter, I suppose, but you gotta make some fun out of life. Otherwise, what? Anyway, that's what I hope for myself, at least inside there. I'll just be Tolkien's Suvuya surfing. Like, I have neglected my body. I have not done it right. I guess I have not maintained. And then there will be no more YouTube channel telling you about my experience. Like, what is it like in my diapers over here? Like, my wheelchair doesn't work. Blue Storm, come fix the electricity. They haven't changed my diapers in 3 days. Oh, fuck, I stink. Who was that guy who stood at the platform on that day of the cosmic earth and smelled his way to me across a distance? They're not coming because I stink like that. Ah, shame. Ah, it's not fun. It's not funny either, right? Okay. I apologize. I didn't mean to be insensitive. Anyway, I wish us a beautiful day, new beginnings, birthing ourselves into truth all the time, all the way, all the while, forgiveness. Yesterday I titled that thing Forgiveness because sometimes the titles come later after I've spoken. They're not really related to what I speak, but I just run with whatever comes up. Being able to forgive that we can't forgive is really, really important. Being, forgiveness, surrender, releasing, sometimes we can't. Sometimes we just can't. And if we're hard on ourselves, it's not about self-righteous, but we can forgive that we can't forgive. It's okay. We can be kind with ourselves. We can be compassionate with ourselves. And if we can't be compassionate with ourselves, we can be compassionate with ourselves, not being able to be compassionate with ourselves. It works. I recommend it. So, in the blue night, the fullness of our unconscious potentials of why did I do such a deep dive in this wave spell? Because the truth is so linked to the unconscious. And if my unconscious trips me up and I'm not aware of what's going on over there, I better investigate. So for me, that's what I'm all about. I will always go into the shadow and do the shadow work, because how else am I going to be true? How else am I going to birth the occult? This is the thing I wanted to say, and I'm just going to throw in here, and anybody who's not in the Tolkien, this is going to be absolutely meaningless to you. Today we have the magnetic night in the occult position, which means the whole wave spell, the wave spell of the night ran with us backwards, in reverse. I think those quantum physicists should investigate the Tolkien, because then they would understand why is the brain giving the thing 3, 8 or what seconds already before we even realize. Because the end is the beginning. If we realize that when the World Bridger starts, that the magnetic night, the occult, underneath the cosmic mirror today, is informing the entire wave spell. It's running parallel underneath backwards. So when there is no linear time, there's time, there's no linear time, there's cyclical time. On some layers there's linear time, but somewhere there's not, somewhere there's backward time. So when we can go into these multi-dimensions of time, we can really see, even if we do it in a little bit of an analysis mode, for the time being, that's what I have to do, because I'm not always able to hold that space like simultaneously. But on hindsight today, I can see, yeah, of course the blue night was present all along. And the World Bridger has a blue sign underneath. Who is it? Is it the blue hand? Oh, I know. Who's the cold medicine to the World Bridger now? It's not it's the monkey. It's the eagle. Of course, the eagle is the cosmic tone to it's you see, it's the blue night, not the blue night, and this is where it really gets brain fucked. It's not the blue night wave spell traditionally, it's chronologically in forward motion. It's the reverse motion that doesn't exist, which means usually we go from magnetic night, then the next is seed, right? Lunar seed, going forward in the circle of 20. Now, this occult wave moves from, takes the magnetic night, and then the seal that actually comes before it, which is wind, and it makes that lunar second tone. And then it takes the seal before that. So it goes backwards in time, but forwards in creative motion. So it still goes magnetic, lunar, electric, self-existing, overtone, dunka, 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 dunka. And that wave, I mean, how much time do we have to investigate that way? Like, do you get why I want to be around a long, 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 long time? I want to investigate that. What the hell does that mean? And how, and then the occult has, that's the occult wave. The analog has its own wave and the antipod has its own wave. The antipod is parallel with us, right? And the analog is something else. I don't know what that analog is doing now. I know what it is, but I can't think of it now. I don't want to think of it now because I am going over time. Says who? Excuse me. Tatiana says who? What if someone says, Tatiana, please keep talking. We love it so much. It's the don't stop. I would go on the whole day. All right. This is the problem with the rhythmic monkey in the World Bridger. This is one of the take-homes and takeaways for me is maybe I should actually set a timer for an hour and confine myself to that because like water, and I'm Pisces, I'm very watery, if nothing contains me, I just go overboard. I just don't know where to stop. And this goes for many of us, when we love something, it's natural not to want to stop. And that's where, the ill comes eventually. One of the issues for me in this World Bridger wave spell was aided by the fact that I wasn't sleeping enough. I had a sleep deficit. I had a rest deficit. I had a switch off your bloody brain deficit. I had an information overload because I go in there and I love it and I go more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And I don't realize, wait, stop. You're not in the rhythm. You're overextending. You're gonna pay. You're over harvesting. You are like, oh, this is so great. I'm like planting seeds year after year after year after year. I'm not giving my soil that year rest so that it can replenish. And then I go down. Then it's like depleted. And then other patterns start taking that are like force. Force comes in and says, oh, but you have to, and then I'm depleting my energy. I'm going into overdraft. My bank account is empty and I'm taking from my life force in an overdraft. And now I need much longer than a normal rest period to fill up the overdraft. So if I'm thinking, oh, a night's sleep will do, no, it won't. I need more than normal to fill up the overdraft and then fill up the coffers with enough to have a healthy give and take. You know what I mean? So that's what I did, and that's what I do, and that's what I do when I go overboard with stuff. And then when I'm trying to avoid other stuff. So that's the imbalance, the rhythmic monkey in the World Bridger. So important. I have to be able to be rhythmic in my play. I have to be able to be a little responsible, adulting, not just playing all the time. I have some way to go still. There is not a perfect balance on that account. And if I may, we have have the magnetic night here. Yes, it ran underneath here, but the magnetic night is a link to the magnetic night, and the magnetic night is yet to come. I'm setting an intention. I'm sending a message to my magnetic night which will have the cosmic mirror underneath it, and it has there is a dragon. I need to check something out. Sorry, bear with me. The knight has the Skywalker and the warrior in the mirror. So I need that warrior, that intelligence. I'm asking the warrior, the intelligence, the knight, my unconscious to help me, to guide me towards having a better balance on that account. To have that rhythmic monkey. The rhythmic monkey shows up again in several rhythmic tones as an analog or antipod or guide, and it shows up underneath a galactic tone. 8 plus 6 is 14. Yeah, it has to be a galactic. Who's underneath the monkey? Dog, the galactic dog. So that's yet to come in the wave spell following the dog wave spell, which is the wave spell of the blue light. Don't tell me. Yep. Yeah. This is what I love this for. Oh man. All right, so I'm anchoring into the future. I'm sending a memory into my future to really, really anchor and have a really, by that time, I want to have the rhythmic monkey down. And then I will remember a time where the rhythmic monkey, how it was like when the rhythmic monkey didn't really work optimally. I will have that as a memory. Past tense. Past tense. Why is tense tense? Okay, never mind. So, yeah, done. Okay, a hoe now. Oh, I'm a hoeing us now. Where's my phone? How are we? Oh, 1.5 hours. All right. Wow. Okay. I'm not going to apologize. I want to wish us a beautiful, life-filled, truthful, resonant day. I see a new shoot on my plant growing. That's the red dragon mama. Oh, this is one of those. I feel so much love for that plant. Look at you. Oh, I have a lot of plants here that are growing new shoots. I'm not as in love with all the other new shoots. I'm just in love with this one in particular right now. So, selective dog. Okay. I wish us a fun-filled day, guided by the white wind. May we be guided in our truth, to our truth, to our deliverance into peace with all the truths there are. May there be reconciliation. May we be in reconciliation within ourselves so we can be the change we want to see in the world. So we don't need to look out there and complain about how bad it all is, but that we can look within and say, hey, look how much is getting better. And trust the world. Trust that everyone is on their way, that every human is manifesting their journey, and we are manifesting ours. And if ours is bad, we can fix it. If ours is good, we don't have to feel guilty about it. I think for a lot of us, it's like, for me, it's like that. I can't have this good life because I feel guilty that not everybody has it. What should I do about it? And then someone will say, go out there and do something. That's no. No, 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 no. For some, yeah. And in some way, yeah. But it has to start with me and the frequency I resonate on. That is my truth. And I'm going to stick by it until I've changed it. Any case, we have got this. This world is in good hands. It's in the hands of the world bridger. It's in the hands of the world bridger. It's in the hands of every human. We got this. We are a beautiful species, and no matter how lost we get, and no matter how divergent from love we become, there is good reason for that. God didn't give us free choice so that we could. No, it's a good reason for it, and we're doing the right things even if it doesn't look like it. And I want to invite all of us to really remember that. And if we don't understand, then I want to invite us to ask God, please help me understand. And then let go of your not understanding or your belief that you understand. The reason we don't understand a thing we don't understand is often because we're holding on to another kind of understanding and believing we are right. And then the new information can't get through to us. Yeah, I've certainly demonstrated that to myself. Any case, so now, waffled enough. May spirit guide us. May our breath guide us. Breathe deeply, breathe long. Do the exercise my friend told me about, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at the end of the day, just breathing. She didn't explain the details of it, so I'm butchering this. Maybe there's more to it. But even if it's just 15 minutes of breathing consciously, do nothing but breathe. Do 5 minutes of it, it's a challenge. If you think it doesn't matter, just breathe, focus on your breathing. 5 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. And she says it's life transforming, and I believe it. All right. Have a great day. See you in the quantum field tomorrow, which is already today. I hope.